After beating back the corrupted at Give Report, Morvier relays to a worried Alir about the risk of regular Vale never waking up again, and that he too is worried for her before scrambling away with Marnie. We let the two go, so we can reacquaint ourselves with Emblem's Micaiah and Roy, who report to us that the abnormal amounts of corrupted here are due to Sombron's abductions of the Illusion populace, as sovereign blood is no longer enough for him. Then Ivy and Alir resolve themselves to confront the hounds at Illusia Castle. As per usual though, the Somniel comes first, and Sapphire gets added to the list of deaths on my profile card. There are a lot of bond conversations we go through, namely, the B ranks 4, Alir and Byleth, Jean and Micaiah, Jean and Corrin, as well as the C ranks 4, Louis and Sigurd, Merrin and Eirika, Panette and Leaf, Ivy and Lucina. Then Alchrist and Eirika, Clan and Sigurd do theirs after a one-sided bout each. Finally, Panette and Ike both get their C and B ranks out of the way after a mini training arc, all leading up to inheritances, burning skill point books where necessary, purchasing and equipping, Bow Focus 2 for Fogado, Healing Light for Jean, Resolve Plus for Louis, Lunar Brace for Alchrist, Wrath for Panette, and Canter for Clan, before finally getting to the support conversations. Clan is sulky about being treated like a boy and seeks Fogado's permission to follow and observe as he sees him as the dictionary definition of a man, to which Fogado obliges. Alchrist recalls to Ivy their B-rank support and takes the opportunity to pledge a future alliance with Illusia, which shifts Ivy's impression of Alchrist in a more positive light, yet still takes the opportunity to tease him. But Alchrist is quick to catch on this time, and the two both see this as a sign of a growing friendship. In Merrin and Tamara's C rank, we learn of Merrin's past as the next-in-line matriarch of her village, a role that she did not want, and she chose to leave to chase her dreams, eventually having her fateful meeting with Tamara during a bandit raid. Panette and Merrin are perplexed by the obtuse singing advice their princess gave them, though the two at least were able to understand the intent behind them, and the duo find immediate improvement, quickly gaining the confidence that they'll be called the Sirens of Psalm and go to practice some more. Finally, I'm ready to once again tackle the Crossroads of Fate. Firstly, I make sure to use the characters I used in my last two attempts. Second, I equip Micaiah onto Clan, Roy onto Alir, Byleth onto Jean, and Lucina onto Seadal. Thirdly, I give Jean our free staff, Louis is given our shiny new Brave Lance, and I use the stat boosters we got in the last two main chapters. Panette takes the Speedwing, then Alir takes both the Goddess Icon and Draco Shield. Finally, I put everyone into position and start my revenge match against the Crux of Fate. I start turn 1 differently to my previous attempts, by having everyone head towards the bridge, and getting Alchrist to Astra Snipe a Sage on the west side just because I can. Then he calls doubles, to delay the west side enemies once the water is drained. Louis intercepts one of the nearby halberdiers and gets ignored by the rest because he's too bulky for them. Turn 2, Louis gets blown away because I overextended him in an attempt to eliminate all the nearby foes. But we're able to clear them without the death in the subsequent timeline, where Louis overrides the line of archers that are each finished off by Alir, Merrin and Panette, while everyone else aside from Seadal clear the blockage on the bridge, leaving the last halberdier to get skill issued by Alir. Turn 3, the next 3 foes in our vicinity get swiftly taken out while we also take refuge in the woods tiles, and Louis lures in Fabrication Ryoma, which results in the remaining Fates Royals to start gathering around Corrin's side as she uses Dragon Vein to drain the river. Meanwhile in turn 4, we crush Fabrication Sakura, who had tried to silence Jean, and we use Goddess Dance to blitz Fabrications Takumi and Ryoma before they rendezvous with Corrin, who splashes some water on us, though despite this, on turn 5, I go on the offensive, having Merrin poison Corrin, while Alir engages and follows up with Blazing Lion, giving Alchrist a safe opportunity to snipe Fabrication Hinoka. To mitigate the damage on Merrin during the enemy phase, Jean freezes a Sage to our northwest, and then freezes Fabrication Leo as well, so Louis doesn't get nuked. With her limited movement, Corrin chooses to blast Torrential Roar on Merrin. Fabrication Xander chooses to die by Alir's hands, Fabrication Elise shuts Jean up, and Fabrication Camilla whacks Panette, only to get hit quadruple times to death on turn 6, and after, Fabrication Leo soon follows as he's shot down by Alchrist. Merrin breaks Corrin's first revival stone, and as she and Panette are frozen, I have everyone else aside from Clan turtle up with them, and during that, Louis takes the opportunity to wipe out Fabrication Elise. Then we have Seadal at the core of the formation to utilise Bonded Shield, while Clan escapes the enemy attack ranges and uses Great Sacrifice. Seadal blocks every attack that came at his adjacent allies, allowing Panette and Alir to go on a rampage, critting out 3 enemies before our entry into turn 7. We maintain our formation as Corrin throws not just Panette and Merrin this time, but Seadal too. Merrin breaks Corrin's second revival stone, while everyone else aside from Clan whittle down the remaining enemy forces, leading us into the final turn, taking out the last few enemies before breaking Corrin's last revival stone, and eventually finishing her off with 2 strikes from Alir.
If I may. My path is clear.
After changing our fate, Corrin compliments us for giving her blade a workout, and then she bonds with Alir on how they've both lost their mothers, and that no matter what choices we make, she'll be with us. And with that, our max bond level is unlocked with Corrin. Once again, we rest to the Somniel, literally this time as to change the time of day, and Louis wakes us up to a beautiful night so I can finally check out Seadal's fortune-telling services, which I find is only there for flavour and is otherwise a waste of time, so let's go over the available supports. Tamara and Merrin reminisce about their first encounter, roaming around Solm, with the latter unaware of the former's identity, until Merrin told Tamara her dream, immediately undergoing a knighting ceremony in what she assumed was a jest, until she saw how serious Tamara was. Alir and Alchrist get attacked by a wolf again, though this time instead of kowtowing, Alchrist brought along some jerky and successfully tamed the wolf, which turned out is the same one from their B support, and since then he achieved a C rank support with them. Alir asks for help in befriending the wolf, and Alchrist is more than happy to do so. With those done, we head back to Solm for the next Paralogue. Entering some dark ruins, Eirika is shocked by the location and she goes over her backstory, being a princess of Renee whose country was invaded by the neighbouring Grado Empire, and their final battle took place in ruins like these where she lost a dear friend. To overcome her grief, she requests a spar with us on this replica of the final chapter Part 1 map of Fire Emblem The Sacred Stones. We're positioned at the north end of the map, with multiple paths we can utilise to make our way to Eirika. There are cavalries to our side, a multitude of heroes, and 2 phantom worms covering the central row, while a greater variety of units surround Eirika, mostly sages. At the lower corners of the map are 2 rooms with a treasure chest each, as well as 2 high priests. One set wields a fracture staff and the other with freeze. From the get-go, the thieves going for those chests start at the narrow hallways from both sides of us, so it's going to be a tough race. For now, I give Merrin Corrin, Panette Ike, Tamara Leaf, Fogado Alphonse S, and Ivy Nino A. Everyone is put into position, and we begin our battle against the Azure Twin. Turn 1 starts off with me making an aggressive push on the central path, Goddess dancing Alir, Alchrist, Merrin, and Panette. Panette and Merrin eliminate a hero each along the way to the left side, while Alchrist uses core doubles, which all leads to Merrin's demise as she's focused down by multiple enemies due to lacking a void with the Levin sword, leading into my second variation, where only Panette leads whilst engaged and having Great Ether active, which was countered easily by the numerous backup hits from the heroes and the Phantom Worm ignoring the illusions. So with a third variation, Pynette pushes deeper just to crush one of the archers below whilst engaged, mitigating the number of backup attacks on her. Merrin and clan take out the hero cornered by Awakens illusions, then we have Fogado, Ivy and Louis attempt to take the right side path, with the remaining units following the central team. Thankfully, Pynette survives and we make it onto turn 2, continuing the aggressive push. First off by getting Jean to heal Pynette, then Pynette moves over to the left to cover the choke point there with Great Ether. Merrin engages and takes Pynette's previous spot to unleash Torrential Roar, getting rid of one of the enemies and keeping the snipers frozen to minimize the attacks on Jean. Awakens solos the hero stuck in our zone of control. Clan, Alir and Rosado deal with the one behind the group, then the side path trio eliminate the remaining cavalry on their end. Merrin was able to slay one of the snipers on the enemy phase, and the left side path cavalries reach our backline. Turn 3. Down comes Great Ether, bringing Pynette back to half health, and she follows up by eliminating the spear-wielding hero that was struck, and Jean helps by removing 11 sword wielder there too. Awakens then dispels his remaining illusion, only to be refreshed so he can summon a fresh batch, and then we have Clan move down to drown the remaining sniper. This frees up Merrin to cover our rear, while everyone else that was back there can continue forward. Finally, with the side path trio, I make the decision to have them rejoin the main group, mostly because they've barely made progress. Despite the newly minted illusions, Pynette gets struck by the Phantom Worm, but thankfully we removed the 2 ranged heroes earlier, so she survives by the skin of her teeth. Unfortunately, the thieves open the doors to the treasure rooms, freeing the staff users within, and now it's turn 4. Awakens starts the turn strong by Luna critting the Phantom Worm into oblivion. The backline removes 2 of the enemies in their vicinity, and those at the front crush the remaining foes that were blocked by Pynette. The left side thief opens the treasure chest to obtain the second seal, and the staff users from there break and freeze Alir. Eirika then calls in Griffin Knight reinforcements on the right side, all with 1 to 2 ranged weapons, then we get to turn 5. Firstly, Louis heads down to block off the lower path. The last cavalry in our rear is eliminated, the lone hero in the front line's path is shot down, then everyone else keeps out of the enemy Wolf Knight's ranges. The other thief finally opens the right side treasure chest to obtain the Seraph Robe. Seadal is frozen this time, and then it's turn 6, where Awakens and Alir lead the charge over the bridge by removing the left side free staffing fabrication. Clan and Pynette follow up by getting rid of the thief to retrieve the second seal, then the rest of the rear fall back to the bridge, and with a refreshed Merrin pouncing over and hobbling the fracture staff wielding fabrication ahead, getting disregarded by the enemy Wolf Knights who chose to block the bridge instead, and now the rest of the enemies, aside from those around Eirika, march to our position. On turn 7, despite the fact we're in a very vulnerable position, I chose to have everyone make a stand on the bridge. We destroy both Wolf Knights first, leading into Merrin and an engaged Louis covering in front. I have Alir leave their cover to clear the remaining left treasure room fabrication to prevent them from shredding Louis. Clan engages and uses Great Sacrifice. Then Seadal moves down to engage and use Bondage Shield to protect Clan, Pynette and Awakens, leaving the rest of the backline to do their best in escaping the enemy attack ranges, with Jean topping up Clan just in case. Thankfully my fears were unfounded as Seadal does his job, though he does almost die as 2 of the Griffin Knights had chosen to strike at him, but at least he dodged one of them to make it to turn 8, where we're somewhat cornered. Well, at the very least Alir is, but we're able to fight back hard, taking out all the Griffin Knights. Awakens shuts down 2, Pynette snipes down another, and Fogado takes the remainder. Merrin engages and pulls back to the rear so she can torrential roar the line of heroes there, and the rest of the backline finish them off. Alir double crits to death the paladin next to him, then Louis blocks the bridge alongside Pynette, leading to Alir getting bullied into the treasure room. Turn 9, we magically remove all the generals in our path, then utilizing Alir's personal skill and Lynn's Mullagear, Awakens can perfectly one-round the remaining thief with Astra Storm just before they escape and claim the Seraph Robe. We keep our distance from Eirika's troops whilst Merrin and Tamara deal with the High Priests chasing us from behind, removing one this turn and the other on turn 10, with Temera becoming a level 5 Picket along the way, and thus learning her Sandstorm class skill. We then have Rosado, Alchrist and his illusions, as well as Louis, hug the northwestern sides of the circular platform as bait. However, I overlooked one of the High Priests and they completely melted Louis. Furthermore, Alchrist gets unlucky by getting crit to death himself. This time I try a safer approach, keeping Rosado where they are and only having Alchrist bring out the illusions. Thankfully, this works out better and Alchrist avoids the critical fate. Eirika becomes active and 3 heroes reinforce her from the south. Turn 11, I have Alir engage and unleash Blazing Lion on the enemies around Alchrist. I send in Favoured to clean out one of the sages and that results in a critical failure. Going back, I have Ivy warp Merrin into the main conflict zone, learning that the Emblem MG tiles can't be claimed in this manner. Louis crits the sage in Favoured's stead, and Prinny deletes the Killing Edge hero. Alchrist then dispels his remaining illusion once again, so he can be refreshed to bring out a new set. I then notice how Eirika can easily one-shot Merrin with her engaged attack, so I boldly move Jean in to burn his last free staff charge on her before that happens. Finally, Merrin stays where she is to heal up with a vulnerary and fully charge her engage meter, while Rosado pulls back while still acting as potential bait. The illusions do their job and Alchrist himself narrowly avoids a fatal blow. However, despite things looking promising, that all comes to an end when another sage gets a low crit rate elimination on Rosado.
Now I've done it. What good is being cute if I can't even protect my friends?
For a while, I'm just dumbfounded and mad by these lucky Bolganon sages to the point where I was just willing to let Rosado go, as I'm sure that was a balancing job from the RNG gods to let Alchrist live that turn. And so, I just pressed onward with turn 12, moving Alir next to Eirika to slay the sage to his left. Merrin moves to Eirika's front to engage and splash her and the heroes behind her with Torrential Roar, keeping them frozen. Louis makes a hit and run on Eirika, also Jean can Goddess Stance him, Alir, Merrin and Alchrist. Prinny does a hit and run too, getting rid of another sage, then she's refreshed to set up a free Great Ether. Alchrist deals with the Phantom Worm in the room, Clan marches in to remove the unfrozen hero, Merrin and Temera avenge Rosado, Alir goes on a mission to eventually remove both High Priests remaining, and then Louis breaks Eirika's first revival stone. Eirika tickles Prinny with Twin Strike, and Prinny counters with Great Ether on turn 13, fully recovering from the damage she took. Merrin breaks Eirika's second revival stone to keep her in check with Dreadful Aura, while everyone else finishes off the fabrications around. From here, it's smooth sailing. We just chip away at Eirika's final revival stone before dealing the finishing shot on turn 14.
I hope this is enough.
And so, I am defeated.
Eirika praises our strength and compares us positively to her brother Ephraim. Alir thanks her and lets her know that we rely on her skills, while she tells us that we need more confidence, and so we look forward to her continued support. And with that, our max bond level is unlocked with Eirika.